Hey everybody, this is Cody up in the chapel. This is where we do the prayer room every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, you're more than welcome to come whenever you have time. It's not a whole 2.5 hour thing. If you got 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, pop in, pop out. It's totally okay to do that. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. For those of you that are new to the page, we've been doing some videos over the past month about the purpose of prayer. If you haven't watched those, go back and take a look at those. And for those of you that are up to speed, you guys have been filled with, we get prayer is powerful. We get prayer matters. We get that we need to do it. But Cody, how? How do we do it? And I would have to say that you guys are in good company, because the disciples actually asked Jesus that same question in Luke 11. They say, Jesus, teach us to pray. And that's when Jesus gives them the Lord's Prayer out of Luke 11. And we'll go over the Lord's Prayer in the future. But for right now, we want to get very practical on the how-to of prayer. And something that we felt was really helpful is actually a model of prayer that we found out of a resource by Pete Greig of 24/7 Prayer over in the UK. Wrote a book called How to Pray. I encourage you guys to go out and grab that and read it. It's super amazing, very down to earth, makes prayer a very accessible thing. But this is a model that came out of that book, and it's something that we've adopted a little bit within our prayer ministry. It's something that I have adopted in my own prayer life, and it's been super amazing, super wonderful. And so this model is simply this, and we want to go over this just as something practical for you guys on the how-to of prayer. And it's an acronym out of the word pray. So for the next month, our model of prayer is going to be, we're going to pause, we're going to rejoice, we're going to ask, and we're going to yield. P-R-A-Y. I'll say that again. We're going to pause, rejoice, ask, and yield. And we'll go over those final three in some more future videos, but we're going to pause on the word pause. You see what I did there? It's cheesy. We're going to pause on the word pause. And I'm going to start with a story. And once upon a time, 2 years ago, I accidentally went to Mass. I didn't grow up Catholic. I didn't grow up in that stream. I've never been to Mass before, and I found myself accidentally going to Mass. A couple years ago, we had our first free staff retreat at the Guadalupe Shrine, or Shrine of Guadalupe, and I misread my email, skimmed it, I should say, and I ended up going to a noon Mass up at the top of the bluff there, with nobody else from First Free. They were all off doing something else. It was just me up there accidentally going to Mass. And I found something out as I was sitting in that service. I found myself recognizing that within the liturgy of what was going on, there were pockets and moments of pause and reflection that were actually part of what you did. And I'd not experienced that in a church service before, and I found it actually awakening something in me, awakening some kind of affection for the Lord in those moments of just being still. That was really, really interesting. And when Mass was done, I went down the bluff and hiked down, went to my car, and the Lord was just speaking to me the whole time, just verses and revelation and stuff like that. That was far beyond anything I experienced on the way up, but also I hadn't heard the Lord like that for a long time. And I accidentally stumbled into this idea of pausing just by accidentally going to Mass, and just the importance of it is in your prayer life, just to sit and be still before the Lord. That's Psalm 46:10. The Lord says, be still and know that He is God. There is something about being still, quieting your heart, your mind, even your physical body. There's something tied into being still and knowing things about Him and having intimacy with Him. And so pausing isn't, we're not looking into ourselves, we're not centering ourselves, we're not channeling our chi, we're not any of that stuff. We're not doing any of that stuff. Pausing is just simply quieting the heart, quieting the mind, and looking at the Lord. Now you might be wondering, how do I practically pause in my life? My life is hectic. I can't pause. If I pause, stuff doesn't happen. And something that I challenge you with this is that pausing takes intentionality. It's not going to happen just naturally in your life. Our culture doesn't want you to stop and pause. And I go so far as to say that Satan doesn't actually want you to stop and pause either. That's a big deception in our culture, is and a big point of bondage, honestly, is our fast-paced go, 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 go. We don't have time to sit and actually hear and listen. So, practically speaking, get intentional with that. That means if you got to put it into your planner, if you got to put it into your phone, like make an alarm for it, whatever it happens to be intentional with pausing. Schedule it, plan it. The other thing I'd say is don't box it into what pausing actually looks like. You don't have to accidentally go to Mass to pause with the Lord. It can look a lot of different ways. It can look like going out for a walk and taking your dog for a walk, maybe. It can be having a space in your home or a chair that's just dedicated to just sit and just to pause and to breathe and to listen. Speaking of breathing, that's a good way to start off your prayers, just to simply, if you practically speak, just breathe a little bit. Just in and out of your lungs, just breathe for a second. Take some deep breaths. It can look like, saying a phrase over and over again, saying the name of Jesus over and over again. It could be praying in tongues, whatever that looks like. We want to start our prayer times with this, because if we don't pause, we will quickly transition into laundry lists with prayer. And our prayers get just telling God a whole bunch of stuff. And prayer is a two-way conversation. We'll talk about telling God stuff later, but for right now, this is just about us getting our minds and our hearts in a place where we can have a conversation with the Lord, not just talk to the ceiling. So I challenge you guys during this week, incorporate pausing into what your prayer life looks like right now. At the beginning, just to take a few moments, just to sit, just to breathe. And I'll tell you, a great place to pause is the prayer room on Tuesday nights. This is a great place to sit with the Lord and just pause and breathe. So come on a Tuesday night, incorporate this in your life. We love you guys so much. This is all just to equip you guys and to give you something to go off of, to grow in the Lord, to grow in prayer. So hope to see you in this room. Hope to see you out and about. We love you guys. Have a great week.